Hello, welcome to my channel again. So in today's video I'll be talking about stress and your menstrual cycle. So is stress messing up with your period? This is what you need to consider, especially if you are having issues with your menstrual cycle. Okay, so in the entirety of human history, we have not really asked our body out the way we do nowadays. So nowadays we put a lot of demands on our body, and our body is giving us our body is giving us feedback about our choices. So we have symptoms like sleeplessness, we're having issues with our digestive system, we're having issues with our sex hormones. So some of us are not having our period at all, we're having every period, scanty period, longer period, shorter period, and stuff like that are related to our period. So in today's video, these are the things I'm going to be discussing about, and then the solution we need to provide in moderating our stress and making it accurate. Okay, now is stress messing up with your period? Okay, so that's what we're talking about today. So biologically, stress is related to our reproductive system. So when stress is activated, it causes an activation of this hormonal pathway called the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. So when this axis is being activated, it causes the release of these stress hormones like cortisol, adrenaline, corticotropin releasing hormones. So these are stress hormones, and when they are released, when they are released in the normal level, it helps to control stress responses and also manage inflammations. However, because of the lot of demands that we put on our body nowadays, so we consistently or persistently activate this HPA axis. Okay, so our body is always flooded with these stress hormones, and when these stress hormones are persistently activated, it suppresses our sex hormones, and that's why some of us have issue with ovulating regularly, and that's why we're having issues with our periods. So now we want to look at the research on stress and the menstrual cycle. So I'm not just coming up with stuff. So it's what women have actually talked about, what they have complained to their gynecologists. So when they are having issues with their period, and there are some things, the nature of stress that they actually tell the gynecologist about. So, and these are being recorded, and then these are the things we're going to be looking at to see if you are also passing through, or if you have passed through the kind of stress, and then you can also know if that is what is messing up with your menstrual cycle. So what exactly is stress? Stress is a normal psychological and physiological reaction to changes in someone's environment, which could be emotional, physical, social, or cultural. So like I said, stress is just a normal way of us responding to our environment, especially the changes in our environment. So that is basically what stress is, and these changes can be acute. Okay, is what some of us can actually manage, or in fact it is good for us to experience this kind of stress in a moderate way, because like I said, it helps to balance our body, the inflammation in our body. It helps to manage it. So but if it is in excess form, when this is the sex hormone is in excess form, it can cause issues with our reproductive system. I explained this very well in one of my videos. I'm going to be putting that in the description box. So stress is actually our reaction psychologically and physiologically to our environment. So mentally and biologically, we react to our environment. So the nature of stress that can actually impact or cause changes in our menstrual cycle, and one of them is stress from extreme or traumatic events. Okay, this has been linked to a dramatic changes in normal menstruation. So if you have experienced an extreme traumatic event in your life, okay, and you have not gotten over it, you may be having issues with your menstrual cycle, and you may not even know that is what is causing it. This can even happen while you are still very young, and it's continue with you because you have not been able to manage or respond very well or cope with this traumatic event. Or it can even be now the way your life is right now is you are experiencing shock, or the changes that are happening in your environment right now is causing a lot of stress on you. This can always cause changes regularly or periodically in your menstrual cycle. So this is what you want to also look at so that you can know if this stress is messing with your period. So the second one is war or separation from family and family. These have been linked to amenorrhea, that is the disappearance of your period. You don't see your period again. It has been linked to war, separation from your family and family. You can see maybe you have also experienced, maybe you travel to another country, or you travel to another state, or you for the first time you go to school. There is a separation between you and your loved one, or maybe there is a famine, you have been under eating, or there is a war, you are experiencing war, unrest, okay, in your life right now. So it can cause a lot of stress or demand on your body, and then it can cause you to lose your period entirely. So the third one is physical, emotional and sexual abuse has also been linked to the development of premenstrual syndrome, that is PMS, and premenstrual dysphoric disorder. Okay, so these issues, emotionally, physical, sexual abuse, if you have once experienced it and you are having issue with your menses, you are having cramp, you are having a lot of issues, okay, it can be that you are physically stressed, okay, or you are emotionally stressed, or you have been sexually abused. Okay, so you need to consider that it has been linked to PMS. So the fourth one is post-traumatic stress disorder. So some of us can just remember what we have passed through, or what things that have happened to us when the thought just come to us, when we just remember the things that are as a great thing that has happened to us that we don't like, or we feel hurt about. It has been linked to issues with our period, not having a regular period. So now the fifth one is daily life stress has been linked to the length it has been linked to the fact that it can alter the length of your period. This has happened to me severally. If I partake in too much stress, I introduce myself to too much daily stress, mentally, physically. I'm not able to manage my daily life, I'm not able to manage my schedule well. Maybe I do not sleep when I'm supposed to sleep, okay, whether it's in the night, I walk through the night and throughout the day and night. Then at the end of the month, when I'm supposed to see my period, it's going to affect the length of my period. It's either I see it earlier or I see it later. So daily life stress have been linked to the fact that it can affect the length of your cycle. So the sixth one is rotating shift. If you are the type that like these female nurses, and they have actually complained to the fact that they are always having an ovulation and longer cycle whenever they are doing shift period or rotating period shift. Okay, so if you are the type that your kind of work or your circadian rhythm is always altered, so today you are sleeping in the daytime and you are working in the night, tomorrow you are working in the night and you are tomorrow you are sleeping in the night and you are working on it. So if your day is your 24 hours is always not regulated like the normal circadian rhythm, it can affect your period, and it has been found that it causes an ovulation, that is you not having your ovulation or having a longer cycle. So you might not even be the type that work at night. It can even be that you are just awake in the night watching movie or doing or staying awake because of social media. It can also affect your period, that you will not ovulate because your body is actually dripping with a lot of adrenaline, cortisol and other stress hormones. So the seventh one is working in jobs you have low control, or you are insecure and you have low co-worker support. This has been linked with painful menstruation. If like some of us that work with for people, if at all you don't have you have low control, and or you are not secure, you don't feel secure in your place of work, you don't have enough support, emotional support, physical support or mental support from your colleagues, it can affect your period. At the end of the day, you can have a painful period every month that you are having your cycle, because your ovulation will be affected. So the eighth one I'm going to talk about is people experiencing stress earlier in the cycle are also being linked to affecting their menstruation. So if like for example, you have a stressful month this month, you may not have your period may come as the way it is, but the next month it can build up and then you start having issues with maybe an ovulation or painful period and the rest. So if you are experiencing stress, so you need to some of you have issues in your subsequent period, because you'll be having issues with ovulating. So the ninth one is stress from preceding months may also affect frequency of dysmenorrhea. So someone might not experience painful menstrual cycle as a result of stress until their period the following month. So people with this history of painful period may also have experience this effect. So these are the things we are talking about. So if your body is building up stress, when your body is building up stress later on in the month, you can start having issues with because your body will not be able to ovulate very well because of the kind of stress that have built up in your body already. So the 10th one, which is going to be the last one I'm going to be talking about, that the nature of stress that can affect or impact your period is high stress from job. Has also been linked with having shorter cycles. So if you are highly stressed in your place of work, okay, your work or your job is highly demanding, you can start having a shorter cycle. So it gets shorter every every month. So if your period is your period cycle length is supposed to be 28, if you now engage in a demanding job, you see that you start having shorter period. You start having maybe 24, 25. You start having shorter period as a result of that. So my advice, now that we know the kind of stress that can affect our period, we talk about trauma, we talk about rotating shift job, we talk about mental abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse. We talk so much. You can go back and look at them again. We talk so much about these stresses, as I'm sure you have also experienced one or two of these stress. Okay, so and you have seen how it impacts your period. So what I'm going to advise is that since stress is as a result of our response to the changes in our environment, so you need to actually know how you are supposed to respond to these stresses, so that your body will not be highly stress. There are some stress like our job that we cannot really eliminate. You can't say you should stop your job or your work or stuff like that. So there are some stress that we cannot eliminate or remove from our life, but the way we respond to the changes in our life, to our environment, to our job, to the things, can actually go a long way in reducing the stress that we experience every day. So if we can change the way we respond to the stresses in our lives, then we can have we can be positive that our period will not be easily affected by the stress in our life. So thanks for watching. Bye bye.